I'm Allison, and I will be your guide. All right, well, let's begin in an easy seat, whatever that looks like for you. Everyone is a little bit different, but I encourage you to find something that is comfortable, that feels safe. And for anyone who would like, we'll use a few props in our practice today. I have a very thin pillow that I like to use in my opening practice, just right underneath the hips. But that's what feels good for me. So make sure you try it out or don't. I also have a nice blanket and a very thin bolster for under my knees later. I'm going to use a block once during this. Whatever props you have, just have them nearby. Use what feels good. So in our easy seat, we'll start arriving. We'll take about 5 slow inhales through the nose and out the nose. So inhaling up, and as I do often, just really imagine as we inhale, your spine is becoming longer. And as you exhale, feel the shoulders falling away from the ears. Inhale, feeling your head becoming lighter, the top of your head reaching toward the ceiling. Exhale, feeling your sits bones pressing into your pillow, the mat, the earth. Continue thinking about this as you breathe, inhaling the spine long and the head tall, and exhaling, feeling the weight of the sits bones pressing into the mat. Continue this at your own pace, but slow it down. Take the time to really feel the breath fill the lungs and to feel the breath moving from the lungs. Maybe listening to your breath, what it sounds like as you inhale. And as that sound changes when you exhale. Take one more breath. Meet me back in center. We'll do some side stretches. We'll begin by inhaling fingertips up overhead, reaching up toward the ceiling, but feeling your sits bones pulling the opposite direction. And exhale, right hand to mat, left arm reaching over toward the right. Really feel as you breathe here, your left sits bones pressing into the mat. Feel your breath adding space between the ribs. Feel your chest opening toward the ceiling, toward the sky. Take one more inhale and exhale, slowly shifting our weight to the other side. Same thing, reaching the right arm now over toward the left. Feeling the right sits bones really pressing into the mat. Opening up the chest toward the sky, toward the ceiling. With each breath, feeling the air building space between each rib on the side. Take one more inhale and exhale, coming back to our center. We're going to do a little cow face pose, half cow face pose. So keeping my left leg bent, left foot by my hip, and then bringing the right leg either just to the very center by the left shin or crossing, if that feels good, if that's in your practice, crossing the right leg over the left. We'll start by inhaling that knee into chest, your spine nice and tall, and exhaling, pulling a little closer. Let's take that left elbow and hook that around the left or the right knee, pardon, and gently twisting, maybe even just a half twist, looking toward the right. Stay here, or bring that left elbow to the outside of the right knee, really twisting only with the core, not with the arm. And bringing your head a little bit more over toward the right. Be careful with your neck. Make sure that your neck is strong and as tall as it can be. One more breath and release, releasing the elbow. But if you're in this position with me, we'll do full cow face pose. So bringing the knees stacking on top of each other. And again, if anything, if you feel any pain, back out of this. Holding on to the tops of the feet. Inhale the spine tall. Exhale, bending forward. Take one more breath here, inhaling and exhaling, coming back to our seated position, and we'll switch our legs. Okay, so now right leg, if you need to stretch them out a little bit, feel free to do so, but right foot comes to the left hip, and your left leg is in center, left foot in center, or if you're feeling it, left leg crosses the right. We'll hug that knee in wherever your foot is, keeping that spine nice and tall. Maybe closing the eyes. Stay here or hook that right elbow, the pit of the right elbow, around your knee and gently doing maybe a little half twist just to wake up the spine. Keeping that spine nice and tall. When we collapse, we can open ourselves up for injury. Same thing. Stay here, or right elbow comes to the outside of the left knee and twisting just from the core, looking a little more toward your left shoulder. Take one more breath, inhaling and exhaling, releasing the arm. And now stacking our knees, just as before, holding the tops of our feet. Inhale the spine nice and tall. Exhale, forward fold. And release, coming back up to seated position. I'm going to take my pillow and place my pillow over here for my head. Release my legs. Feet are on the mat, knees are bent. I'm going to gently roll down vertebrae by vertebrae. And it's up to you if you'd like to use a pillow. You don't need to. But I'm going to keep my left foot on the mat, knee bent. Inhale my right leg up. So we're going to do some figure four and twist here. And in this position, just like what we've done before, let's do a little flex and point. Maybe even some circles too, with the ankle one direction and then the other. Great. Now let's place the right ankle on the left knee, opening up that right knee, pushing away from the torso. Now we'll be here for a few breaths, so if you'd like to just stay with the feet on the mat and relaxing into this, you're welcome. But if you do want to bring the left knee to the chest and thread the hands through the shin, you're welcome to do so. We'll take about 10 slow breaths here. Notice that at times I will go quiet. This is a perfect time for you to have a conversation with yourself or with your breath, just to observe what your body is needing. Take one more breath, inhaling and exhaling to transition, releasing our fingers from the shin, allowing the left foot to drop. And let's cross that right knee a little closer over the left and allow both knees to fall to the left. Now, if you'd like to use a block under the knees to support, I'll show you on this side. So I'm going to put a block under and just allow my right knee to rest on that block and reach my right arm over to the right. We'll do the same here, taking about maybe 10 breaths here. Maybe taking a moment to consider the changes that you felt over the past week, or the changes that you hope to come. Take a cycle of breath and release your knee coming back into the center. Bring both feet to the mat and bring our knees together. We'll take a moment in a little constructive rest here. Constructive rest is just like a shavasana, but our knees are bent, feet are on the mat, and maybe a variety of ways that we can do this. Maybe your hands are on your belly or on the mat itself. We'll just take maybe 5 breaths here. All right, and let's do the other side. So weight goes on to the right foot. That right knee is bent, foot is down. Inhale the left leg up. And same thing, flex and point. And then some circles, both directions. And we'll bring that left ankle to the right knee, opening the left knee away from the torso. And of course, stay here or bring that right knee in, threading the hands through the legs, holding to the backs of the calf or the shin. And we'll stay here and breathe. About 8 more deep breaths. Allowing whatever tensions have built up over the week to be stretched out or loosened from our hips. And another cycle of breath transition. Releasing our fingers from the shin, if that's where you're at. And let's bring that left leg to cross over the right. And same as before, allowing the legs to fall now to the right. I'm going to put my block here and allow my left knee to be supported by the block if that feels good. Right hand just comes to the thigh, left arm reaches out to the left, eyes gaze on the left hand. Take a cycle of breath to transition. Slowly coming back to center. Bringing our feet into our constructive rest, allowing the knees to fall together. And just taking a moment to breathe, hands on their belly or on the mat. Preparing with my block to the side here. Okay, so we're going to do a little side stretch here. So from our nice constructive rest here, I'm going to roll to my right. You can go to either side, whatever side you'd like first, but we'll start with the right. And do a little reclined Buddha. So I'm going to move my pillow out of the way. My right elbow comes to the mat and right hand is supporting my head. If this doesn't quite feel good, you can always allow your head to fall to your bicep or putting a pillow underneath your elbow if that would feel better. And we can keep our knees nice and bent here if you'd like. Hand on the hip, opening up the chest and just allowing the chest cavity to stretch open using gravity. Stay here if that feels comfortable, or stretch out your bottom leg and bring your left leg, your top leg, on top. Opening up that knee, pushing away from the torso, opening up the chest. Whichever position for your reclined Buddha, we'll be here for about 5 breaths. Take one more breath here. Really deep as you can. And then exhaling, releasing the arms. And we'll roll slowly onto our bellies. And on our bellies, making our way into a Sphinx pose. So that means our elbows are near the chest, the ribs, palms are on the mat, forearms pressing in and opening up that chest. Now, you can be very gentle here with your lower back, but we'll be here for about 5 or 6 breaths, so make yourself comfortable. If you find that you need to come down a little more, maybe allow your head to bow, you can do this as well. So whatever's going to be feeling good for you today. All right, breathing deeply, opening that chest. Feeling your hips, feeling the tops of your thighs really pressing into the mat. Take one more cycle of breath here. And we're going to transition into a child's pose. And we'll do this either you can go straight into a child's pose or curl your toes. We're going to come into a little forearm plank if you're feeling it. So curling your toes, pressing up through the knees, and maybe moving your elbows a little closer to you And maybe this is as far as you stay, or lift the knees up and just staying here for about 3 breaths. Inhale and exhale, coming back to a wide-kneed child's pose, extended child's pose. Again, feel your sits bones pressing into either the mat or a block, or maybe even a blanket if you have one nearby. But we're up here, let's try to get something to press our sits bones, our tailbone into. Find yourself grounded, connected to the earth, breathing deeply. Remembering that you are vulnerable, that we are all vulnerable. That vulnerable is good. That's where the learning is. Okay, we'll take another nice deep breath here, inhaling and exhaling. And we'll transition back into the Buddha on the other side. So I'm just going to come back here. Slowly come on to the left. So you'll see the back side of me for a moment. But remember, curling the knees, elbow down, supporting the head, and maybe your right hand is on your hip, opening up that chest. And we'll just breathe here, allowing gravity to help stretch and open up the chest cavity. Or if you'd like to, stretch out that bottom leg and bring the top leg near the thigh, pressing the knee out and away from the torso and opening up the chest, the heart space, the lung space. Find what is comfortable for you and just breathe. One more breath cycle. And exhale. And this time rolling onto the belly. Again, we'll do that same thing. Palms to the mat, forearms to the mat. Feel the thighs and the tops of the feet as we inhale, opening up into a sphinx. Or if you need to bow your head here, do what feels good in this position. Here we're loosening the lower back, opening the chest, breathing. Take one more good breath. And we'll do the same thing going through to a forearm plank. So maybe move the forearms back a little bit, curl the toes, sending the knees up. And we can stay here just on the knees or raise those hips up, straighten out the legs, stay here for 3 breaths. Inhale and exhale, sending back, wide-legged child's pose. Okay, so inhale, exhale, coming back. into the center. Now we're going to move into something that is called deer pose. This is a great one, but deer pose, I'm going to have my block nearby and I'll show you why. So with deer pose, I'm going to bring my knees together facing to the side. But I'm going to bring my forearms and my chest down. Now I like to have a block, but you could use a pillow, you could use a bolster underneath my torso. So here, this is one last opportunity for us to release any of the tension, the pain, or anything, any worries that had to do with change, releasing from our hips and from our lower back. So here I have the block supporting me, and I'm going to take my hands. We can even stay in the forearms, or I'm going to bring my hands as a pillow and allow my head to drop. If you feel any pain in your lower back, go right back into a nice child's pose or into maybe an easy seat or meet us in Shavasana. Take one more breath cycle here. And slowly through the forearms, begin to come up. Move your block to the side. Remember, great thing about videos too is that anytime you want to stay longer in a pose, you can just pause the video. I'm going to roll onto my back. And knees together. Let me go over here. Knees together, we'll do a little windshield wiper. Just gently release any tension that we might have built up in that last pose. And we'll do one to the other side. So just feeling this go back and forth as far as feels comfortable. And then allow your knees to fall to the left. Bring your torso up and we'll do the same thing. So I like the block, like I said, forearms down. My left hip is on the mat, but my right hip is not. Both my forearms are on the mat. Block is underneath the chest, bringing my palms together and just breathing into this opportunity to release any tension that came along with change. And take one more cycle of breath. Using your forearms, gently bring us out and back onto our backs. And we'll do the same thing, windshield wiper, and then we'll move into a short Shavasana. And of course, if you'd like to stay longer in that Shavasana, just stay. No reason not to. Just let the video stop. Okay. Now I'm going to take my pillow that I cast aside earlier, and I have my blanket, and I have my bolster. I'll put my bolster under my knees. This is my personal preference. And my blanket, nice soft yoga blanket over my toes because they get so cold. Just come back down onto the back. And meet me here, however Shavasana looks to you, whether you're using supports or not. This is an opportunity for you to feel your practice. Again, this is going to be a short Shavasana, so when I come out of it and close the practice, you're welcome to obviously stay in your Shavasana. But Let's start here by inhaling deeply and exhaling deeply. And on the next inhale, feeling your feet and your head stretching out opposite directions. And on your next inhale and exhale, feel your hands and your knees and your hips become heavy. Feel your head melting into the mat. And in this quiet space in Shavasana, I invite you to listen to your own breath as it rises and falls and changes within our own body. If you'd like to stay in your Shavasana, stop the video and just allow it to play. If you'd like to close your practice with me, start by wiggling your fingers and toes. Bat your eyes open. Give yourself a nice good morning stretch. And carefully rolling to one side or the other. Maybe kicking your blanket off. When you're ready, using your arms to help you to slowly sit up. Find your way when you're ready to a nice seated position. And we'll close out our practice and our perfect week with a sealing breath. Breathing with me, inhale, arms up, slowly overhead, palms kiss. Exhale, hands to heart, bowing our heads. Thank you for letting me be a part of your journey, and I can't wait to see you on the mat again. Namaste.